from within me. We're flying higher than we've ever been. We're flying high. It's a good day for dreaming. There's a hope, there's a spark, there's a fire. There's a light in the dark, burning brighter. It's a good day for dreaming. Away we go to places we know only in our dreams. Starry eyed, there's nowhere we can't fly. The world is an open sea. Break through the ceiling, nothing in our way. Into the blue. It's a good day for dreaming. There's a hope, there's a spark, there's a fire.
All right, guys, welcome to the Google Developers Student Club Info Session, Fall 2025. Good evening. We're so excited to have each and every one of you over here. I think we have about 180 of you over here. And this is a very special evening because we'll be having some really cool announcements, and we have some super cool guests, as you guys can see on the screen. We'll be having a fireside chat with them and, industry-leading fireside chat. So this will be a very exciting day. Anyways, let's get started. So a little bit about us. We're the Google Developers Student Clubs. That means we are one of their official chapters. We have a bunch of chapters. I think 2 years ago, there were like about 1,700 chapters. Now there's like last year 2,100. We have 2,200 now. So this is not the exact number. It still might be increasing as I'm talking. We're huge, and we host a lot of technical workshops. We do a lot of cool stuff, basically. So talking about the club, why you should join GDSC. I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, I think I've seen most of you at our workshops already. But why you need to join GDSC if you're a freshman? First things first, you don't need to be a computer science major. We get a lot of WP Carey. We get a lot of College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. You don't need to know how to code, All our workshops they don't require any prior experience. You can just come with your laptop, just bring the vibes. That's all. That's all we need. And the membership is absolutely free, as you can see on the screen. And you basically build cool stuff. That's all about the club. Talking about, why we host these workshops, why we do what we do. About, specifically, if I remember last semester, there was this one guy. He asked me after the workshop, Abhirup, you guys do this cool stuff, but why do you guys host these workshops? I didn't have a very clear answer back then, but I do have now. Why do we do what we do? If I be very honest, of course, you get experience, you get leadership opportunities. Keeping that all aside, at the end of the day, the whole reason we're doing this is we want you all to grow. We want you all to grow and to contribute to the developers community. That's our whole aim. And what we try to do is, these workshops, we try to bridge the gap between theory and practice. So, we have these tech industry leading workshops. We do a lot of recruiting events. We have a lot of panel sessions, and that's what we do here at GDSC. Again, as I was talking about the hands-on workshops, these are some of our previous workshops that we did. Zeal will be here talking about the previous workshops in a second. And as you can see, we do these workshops in classrooms where you guys just come in, just bring your laptop. It's a very collaborative environment. So what we expect you guys to do is just talk to one another and just be relaxed, Just build great things. That's all. It's a classroom with a layout that promotes high networking, collaboration and peer discussions. You guys just come in with your great thoughts, make friends, participate in hackathons, great place to know people. Anyways, handing to Zeal to talk about some previous workshops.
Hello. Hi, good evening, everyone. So I get the privilege to share about some of our previous workshops and what cool things we do. So here you see a list, but well, I wouldn't exactly call it a list. It's a set of topics and like all the real skills that you guys get to build some tangible projects on at the workshops, and then also apply them. Basically, all of these are like tech industry standards that you get to play around with, build some very cool stuff on. We've done like a bunch of very cool stuff, starting with like iOS app development to like full stack app development, machine learning, like you name it, and we've had such workshops. Right. One of my personal favorite ones, and I can never stop talking about it, is the iOS app development workshop. You see, so on the left, on the right, rightmost is the image, just showing how chill the environment is and how everyone just collaborates, trying to build something out. And I welcome you to check out a short video of what we built in the iOS workshop, and how our fellow student Anirudh, he won like $3,000 at an ASU hackathon with basically just learning everything in one workshop and then building it out in like 5 hours. So that's pretty cool. The other workshop which I got to host is the machine learning one. Now, I mean, I'm curious, like, I was always curious with stocks and like just trying to predict where the graph is gonna go. So that's what the workshop was about, trying to predict Tesla's stock price based on its like closing price, opening price, and then its volume and everything. Yeah, that's that. Another example is the Firebase and Gemini workshop, which is pretty recent and it was super popular. What we did was we took a bunch of Google products like their Firebase database, and we took their Gemini API and sort of built a whole simple chatbot from scratch, all in like 1.5-hour workshop. And that's screenshot of what the students attending the workshop built. And I guess towards the end, the other one that we built was a campus GPT. I'm pretty sure each one of us have used ChatGPT at this point, but this one was a little bit more specific about, which helped you like answer questions about ASU. It was built using like Google Cloud Platform, and then also like Python and Streamlit and Vertex AI. Yeah, that's that. And so why attend these workshops, right? That's like 2 hours of your time every alternate weeks. So our goal is to inspire to create, right? Anybody can code, but what the point is, you want to learn the skills that you get to apply in practice, and you see it being applied in the real world, right? And yeah, so the ideas matter. So it's not just about learning how to code, it's about coming up with different ideas, cool things that you want to build, and our job is sort of to equip you with the confidence to go build them out. And never be afraid to start. I'm pretty sure like half of the people here would be freshmen or like first-year master's student. Now is a great time to start, even if you've never coded before, even if you are not in computer science. It's a great place to start, and yeah, you guys will just fit right in. And last but never the least, I've always said this, always network. You guys get to like meet 100 different people in the same bucket as all, and then you get to build cool stuff. So, yeah. I'm gonna hand it over to Abhirup to talk more about it. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot to Zeal to talk about these workshops. We're so excited that we have a brand new schedule for fall 2025, and we're introducing these workshops. The last semester, I specifically remember there were so many people attending these workshops, the Firebase and Gemini. We live streamed that workshop. I think it has more than 1,500 views on our YouTube channel now. Like, people absolutely loved it. There were some comments because, we like to learn more, what we can improve. You're always improving the other day, right? And there were people, they were like, we have never used Firebase before, but it feels like butter. It feels like butter using it. It's as easy, it's very smooth. Thanks to Pavel for that, he's here tonight. And machine learning workshop, everyone loved it. Zeal crushed it. And I remember our campus GPT, we hosted it last semester, March specifically. There was this one person, they reached out to me on LinkedIn. And it's just, those small moments which bring you pleasure and like so much happiness. And this one particular person, they were like, we had a full-time job interview, and you guys talked about AWS Lambda. In the systems design and some of the questions, they asked the exact same questions that we talked about. And they were like, we were able to land this full-time role. Of course, we believe it was their own hard work, but we are just doing, small little things just to accelerate your guys' career. That's all what we want to do. Anyways, talking about the fall 2025 workshop schedule. So here's a sneak peek that you guys can get. We have 5 categories: the foundation, the management, the beginner-friendly AI, mobile app dev, and cloud and beyond. If you guys take a look at the management, Git, and mobile app dev, people absolutely loved it. The main reason we're doing this again is because it will be catered specifically towards freshmen and sophomores. We want you guys to learn Git, version control, basics of Git, just to make your own branches. Like, a lot of you guys are over there are freshmen, sophomores, and we want you guys to succeed. You guys should also know basics of mobile app development. The sole purpose of our workshops is you guys just come in on Thursdays, 6 p.m., Wilson 103, that's where we host our workshops. You guys just come in, 1.5 hours. By the end of the workshop, you have to complete a project. You can put something on your resume. Talk about something like, I assume most of us over here are from engineering school, and we took the intro to engineering class. We do a lot of Python and machine learning, like some basic stuff. But we're doing like higher stuff over here. That's what our main aim is. And these workshops, Cloud and Beyond, Foundations, you guys can take a look what they're about. But Cloud and Beyond, I'm really excited about that. We'll be having a Google Maps API workshop. We'll be doing a RAG intro, AI agents. We did that last time as well, but we'll be doing it this time as well. We'll be also doing an intro to vibe coding. That will be an absolutely brand new workshop, like super excited for it. Amelia will be hosting it over. She'll be hosting. She's over here tonight, by the way. So super excited for it. If you guys want, you guys can take a picture of it, but we'll be announcing it on our Discord and our social channels. But there's more. We're super excited to announce our special events. I think I met some of you guys at the tabling events, and we were talking about, some of you asked, like, what are the special events GDSC is planning for this semester? And we were like, there's a ton of stuff, but today, we're announcing it. So, Opportunity Hack, it will be from October 11th through 12th. You guys can participate in it. It will be hosted by Greg Vanoni. It's like a non-profit organization stuff, and it has been hosted at ASU for about 10 years now. 10 years, decade, that's like a long-term thing. And a lot of people participated in Opportunity Hacks, and they got internships and full-time offers later, October 16th, there's this one person, they used to work at Google DeepMind. Google DeepMind is, very responsible for Gemini and a lot of AI stuff that Google is doing, like VEO, Imagine, and all this thing. So they'll be over here. They're working at it as a member of technical staff at Microsoft AI now. They'll be over here on October 16th. And then we have like a secret industry recruiting panel. There was this one person who we collaborated with. They were like a senior recruiter for AWS. And we'll be having a big panel this time. It'll be in October too. And in November, we also have a guest speaker session. Anyways, coming on to the next thing, we're super excited to collaborate with SunHacks. GDSC is going to have its own category this time. It'll be like a super interesting category. I'm afraid I cannot announce it here. There are some policies that I have to abide by. We'll be announcing it this weekend. So we'll be there judging for you guys, and we'll be mentoring you guys. You guys should definitely participate in. Even if you're just a freshman, sophomore, don't matter, doesn't really matter. Just go out there, form a team, make a group of friends. You get free food. good vibes. What more do you need? You make good connections. That's what you take at the end of the day. Doesn't really matter if we win or not. We participate in like 10 hackathons. You just win one. You learned like 9 different things in the 9 other ones, right? So you guys should definitely participate in Sun Hacks, and I would definitely want you guys to see over there. Anyways, coming on to the next things, we have some upcoming events with Google. I think we were talking with you guys, and this was during August 17th. That was when we had the Sun Devil Tuesday tabling. So we have these workshops coming up with Google. So peeps from Google will be coming in. We'll be having some software engineers from Mountain View. These will be 2 important workshops that we're hosting. We'll also be announcing them on our Discord social, but you should definitely check them out. We have one more workshop, the Google Gemini Academy workshop. This will be huge, guys. This will be going to be very interesting, and we're expecting a lot of you over there. You guys should check this out. Anyways, we're done with most of the announcements, but we have, other workshops coming in October. As I already mentioned, the intro to vibe coding. We'll be going how industries are using cursor AI, a lot of these cool stuff that there are to vibe code. But we'll also be going through the essentials, like how not to use AI so that you don't get an academic integrity violation. So we'll be going about that as well. And then we have a speaker from Microsoft AI, which I already mentioned earlier, but these are the October main events. And then we'll be having a portfolio with Next.js and Vercel event. However, we have, one more thing. We never really mentioned this all along, but this is like a very serious and a very exciting announcement that I'm super excited to announce. Let's get on with it. We will be starting spring 26 next semester. We're doing an absolutely new open source lab and GSoC Launchpad. Those of you over here who don't know what open source is, it basically means software whose source code is available online and anyone can contribute and anyone can basically pull requests. You guys can add features, do a lot of cool stuff. And if you don't know about GSoC, GSoC is Google Summer of Code. These are basically internships that you guys can apply to. The main reason we're launching this, I'll give you a short story behind it. I like to, do a lot of research about open source and stuff. This past summer, I was at a conference, the Open Source Summit, and I was giving a talk. After my talk, I met this one person, super huge guy. He's like, he's super talented. Has been working with NASA, and then he's already been collaborating with SpaceX, like super cool projects. But he also does a lot of open source. And I asked him after my talk, I was like, Ramon, why do we, need to get students involved in open source? Like, what's the sole reason behind it? Ramon was like, Abhirup, the main reason behind getting started with open source is if you contribute to open source, you just get in touch with a huge community. And I think we do learn together better if we are doing things together. So that's the whole reason we want to do this. And also, I asked him, Ramon, not a lot of people are into open source. How do we get them involved? He was like, Abhirup, that's a good question. What I would do is get them started early. That's what we're aiming for. So we want you guys to start early, and we're launching like a Google Summer of Code. The applications, I think they started around January 27th this year. And for the next year, they'll be starting around January 2. And they go up until May. So you guys have to find, a mentor for that, get in touch with peeps, and like, it's a super cool stuff. You basically get like stipend. I think, I don't specifically remember the stipend amount, but if it's like a small project, you get like $3,000. If it's a big project, you get like $6,000. So super cool. Other than the stipend, you basically get in touch with a lot of industry people. So, as you can already read on the slides, we'll invite people from GSoC who have already been working with Google Summer of Code. You can land these internships. Also, a super cool thing, like a super cool fact, in Google Summer of Code, you can also work with Google DeepMind. And a lot of cool companies like Linux Foundation, a lot of these companies which don't really hire directly, but in an indirect way, you are making connections with these people and directly contributing to their open source projects. Also, I just wanted to announce this quickly too over here. we closed our applications, for our Google Developer Student Club for the core team. However, I was getting a lot of messages on Discord and on LinkedIn that when are we going to hire again. So we don't have any specific timeline yet. However, if you guys are interested, you can fill out this interest form. We won't be closing it. It's a general rolling-based form. And if we find someone who's like really dedicated, we'll probably, ask you guys for an interview or something. But yeah, just wanted to announce it here as well. Anyways, you guys can see all our previous workshops at this link. All our previous workshops are at ASU DSC, Campus GPT, a lot of these cool workshops which we already hosted. So they are over here. All right, time for the Q&A session. Also, quick thing, guys, we have pizzas, samosas, and Red Bull for you guys. So we'll be distributing them at your table. You guys can just sit, and while we get started, arrange the Q&A session. We'll give you like the pizza, samosa, and Red Bull. All right, a big round of applause for our guest speakers, Alberto, Andrew, and Bailey. We'll wait 5 quick minutes, guys. If you guys want to take like a quick restroom break or something, you guys can take. And we'll distribute the food at the table. I think we have already started distribution. So, and we'll also distribute Red Bull. I think Red Bull people are here.
Summer season won't be gone for too long. I know we're playing for keeps. I have been cold for just one too many nights. Summer season. Summer season got me right where you are. Summer season. Summer season won't be gone for too long. I know we're playing for keeps. I have been cold for just one too many nights. Summer season. Summer season got me right where you are. Summer season. Summer season, take me back to the start. All the time, all the good time. All the time, all the good time. All the time, all the good time. All the time. And I'm stuck in the middle of the mess I've made again. It's not losing out if you never ever felt this before. I should be sick and tired of all the mess we've been making. Why do I always seem to let this slip? Maybe it's something that I need to miss.
Test, test.
Testing.
All right, let's get started with the Q&A session. I think a lot of guys are showing like Andrew his LinkedIn, so you guys will be flooded by like 200 requests later, you know. Yeah. Anyways, let's get started with the introduction. Do you guys want me to introduce you? I'm not really good in giving modest introductions, or you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Whichever.
All right, let's get started with Andrew.
Hey guys, I'm Andrew. I currently work at XAI. I used to intern at Apple, so not like a full-time suite role. And I went to UCLA for undergrad. Excited to be here.
Bailey.
Nice. Hey everyone, I'm Bailey. Currently I am at Microsoft. I joined last year. Before that, I worked for the Department of War out in Maryland, and now I'm here. And I work remotely from Scottsdale. And I did my master's and undergrad here.
You're at Microsoft right now, right, Bailey?
Yes, correct.
Also, guys, Bailey does like a super cool stuff with open source contribution.
Oh, yeah,
I think last time we were talking, you were like, oh, I do Linux. I was like, you're a Linux guy, I'm a Linux guy. You know, it's perfect. Alberto.
All right, yeah. Probably the least interesting guy from all of
No,
us
you're
here,
super
but
interesting.
also first panel ever, so bear with me. But yeah, I'm Alberto. I'm a computer scientist. I graduated from the University of Barcelona. Then I came here to do my master's in CS as well and machine learning at the University of Colorado, and finally ended up doing a PhD in computer science as well and AI here at Arizona State. Now I'm working for a startup in Palo Alto as well called Vianai on GenAI and finance. And I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Very nice to have you all over here. By the way, guys, Alberto and Bailey, they're ASU alumni, if we didn't mention before. So Bailey did his master's too, right? You did your master's in computer science at ASU. And Alberto did his PhD. And he's one of the hardest working and most time scheduled person I know. Like if we have to talk, Alberto will be like, I have 2 minutes, you know? You can talk in 2 minutes or we can talk later. So
I only do that to you, but just kidding.
Your time's ticking.
Oh,
Correct.
I'm heartbroken now.
Just kidding.
My Spanish friend. And Andrew, by the way, is flying all the way from LA just for this info session. He was super excited to be here. Give it a big round of applause for all the three guests. So, to start it off, I have like a bunch of questions. Me and Zeal, we'll be asking you guys like a bunch of questions. But also, guys, if you guys want to ask questions to the guests, you guys can scan that QR on the screen, or you can type in asudsc.com/q on your Safari, Chrome, whatever you guys use. Just type that out, and you'll be seeing that you should be able to submit your questions on the Google form. And we'll be taking like 5 to 7 questions if the time allows. All right. So, to start, I'll ask each one of you these questions, starting from Alberto. We'll keep rotating. So, can each one of you share, specifically you, Alberto, if you could go back and talk to yourself in your freshman year self? I think that would have been like 10 years ago, right?
Oh man, yeah.
Like 10 years ago. So what's one piece of advice you would give your present self or past self from the knowledge you have acquired currently and you would want to share with all the people just starting in?
I would say, to be honest, as you mentioned as well, I've always been right here. Okay, I've been fortunate enough to be very consistent always when I worked. That includes when I was an undergrad. But I would say that's one of the key points that led me to have a PhD today. So that's it's not something that I've changed with the time, but it's still a good piece of advice that I would say to any of you. Consistency beats every time the just short bursts of energy. So I would say that's one of my major key points that I had throughout my whole life, and I will share with you.
To sum it up, you mean consistency is what keeps you persistent and makes you succeed as well?
Yeah, do the things that you don't like. Get out of your comfort zone, and also be how would I say, persistent or diligent with what you have to do.
Right.
And just keep doing it, and you'll get rewarded, definitely.
Amazing. What a wonderful insight. I definitely agree with you on that. It's like doing things which push you out of your boundary are definitely those which makes you grow. Let's say you don't know how to code or participate in hackathons. I met some people, I think, past week, and we were having a chat. They were like, we are just freshmen starting out. Should we participate in Sun Hacks? We don't know much about coding and stuff. I was like, just go there, Just step out of your comfort zone, and no one's judging you. At the end of the day, there's just so many of us, A lot of you are just starting out. Just don't be afraid to do anything. Coming on to you over, Bailey, what would you advise?
Yeah, I would say I wish I joined more clubs. I got FOMO looking at the slides when you guys are going over what you did. I didn't really get involved in many clubs, and I think if you don't, you miss out on a lot of the skills that you don't learn, in the classroom, like Git or actually how to be a software engineer on the day-to-day. You learn a lot of the foundational skills, but doing something hands-on, and also the connections you make will, I think, serve you. Especially if everyone here is going to go somewhere, right? To all these companies, you'll have connections into them. So I think that's what I'd suggest.
Yeah, I agree with Bailey. I think joining clubs is great. Yeah, especially also, it doesn't have to be like a professional club. You could join just clubs for fun, and you make a lot of connections. Not even connections, you make friends, and that's it's really nice to have your friend group. Yeah, I say just don't do things just for career. You don't want to optimize too much just for your job.
So to sum it up, go out of your comfort zone, try new things, try clubs, and you mean networking, right? Networking, that's what gets us where we are. So yeah, guys, it's very true. I mean, these are some of the top industry leaders out there. They're working in companies that we would want to work at one day, right? So we should definitely listen to that. Azil.
Sure. So you guys talked about getting involved in clubs and all. So I guess a little bit closely related question to that would be, so what tool or technology would you guys say you didn't get to use in college, but you would advise the newcomers and the new students to use at ASU, at UCLA? Yeah. Starting with Andrew.
Sure. What new technologies?
Just
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's like a specific technology. I think maybe it's helpful to just like broaden and try as many things as you can. So I think attending like workshops like this is a good idea. Yeah, I can't really think of a specific technology.
Yeah, I'd agree with Andrew. I wouldn't say just latch on to some technology, because technologies change. Like, I think, when we were in school, there was no ChatGPT, there was no LLMs. I would say it's nice to find your niche eventually. Explore everything, and then, especially on a resume, it would look good if, like, for me, I did cybersecurity and like binary exploitation. That was like my focus. So if you have some like reverse engineering tools on there, that's not something you're really going to use in your day-to-day university class. It's like, oh, I use Ghidra, I use IDA Pro. I think that something in what you want to specialize in would be nice.
Alberto?
Yep, definitely I agree with them. I also think that there's no technology that I can think of right now that I regret not studying or having done in my undergrad. I would say that there's one big technology right now that we all know, which is ChatGPT, and I would definitely 100% recommend using it as a tool more than using it as my homework maker or project maker, because in the end that can perfectly bite you back. So I would recommend not be super dependent on that and just using it for my own improvement and knowledge more than doing everything with it, for example.
So I guess to sum it up, maybe don't rely on ChatGPT too much. Use that as a tool, not as like your everyday assistant. I guess explore before you start to exploit things. Explore a lot of different tools, see what niche you want to go in, and then pick a specialization and then keep exploiting that tool and master it. And Abhirup has a good question, the next one,
So, when you said, Andrew, just coming back to the point, when you said that don't rely on specific technology, that is like so true. I remember 2 years ago, I was visiting a friend, and we were taking tour of Stanford. We went to the math section, like the math building, and we met professor coincidentally. And we were just randomly having a conversation. Those of you who know me personally, you guys know I like to strike a conversation. So we were just chatting, and he brought up this point. He was like, if you guys go for a specialization like applied linear algebra or something which just makes you unique in your own field, that is so much better than relying on a technology. Like, let's say we just learn how to code Java, and we have specialized in Java. Like, if anyone comes up with a bug, we can solve it faster than ChatGPT or any model out there. I think we'll be so much better than people out there, because you'll know, like, the concepts of OOPS, you'll be just like memorizing them. Or like if you know Python, it can be like any specialization. I mean, if you're in business, if you're in physics, just have a specialization in your own course, and you'll just be doing so much better out there. Anyways, the next question I have for you is, Andrew, when we were talking last time, and we were also talking right now, so you work with Anane at Apple, right? Like, you knew Anane, and you briefly worked for an internship at Apple, but now you're working at XAI. How does working at a AI research company differs from working at a very big tech company like Apple? Like, what do you think is like, how you guys balance innovation and stability? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think at Apple, it's a great place to work. You have great work-life balance. Like, that internship was probably like one of the best 2 months of my life. But I felt like the pace was not fast enough. And very often you're in your own group, your own organization, and there's like 5 levels of hierarchy to do anything. So it's just not for me. Like, for a lot of people, I think it's a great place to be. But I liked the flexibility to move between teams and take on different projects. So at XAI, it's very nice because XAI is basically a startup. We have not that many employees, So that means anyone, as long as you have the time, can take on more responsibility and take more projects. In this way, you're not limited to just like one thing that you're originally interested in, but you can actually try many things and then find something that's more interesting to you. So for example, I started at Apple doing design, prototyping, iOS app dev, like the workshops. And at XAI, I was able to not just only do that, but also work on the model side and do, for example, like model capabilities. So that's something I could never have done if I was at Apple.
So to sum it up, you have a better work-life balance at Apple, and XAI just stresses you out. That's what you're saying? Musk might be watching it. We're live streaming the event.
Yeah, no, at Apple, yeah, it was a very standard 40-hour week. I think XAI is probably double the workload at Apple, but I think it's worth it.
No, just kidding. Andrew he's a super hard worker guy, Anand told me, he was like, Andrew works very hard. We know about you. But yeah, I think that makes sense. Apple is like XAI is at the forefront of AI, but it's still a startup, right, in a way. So they're still innovating, and they're still very fast-paced compared to Apple, right? I think the next question Bailey Zeal has for you.
So Bailey, your background is in fuzzing and security. Could you walk us through like a real example where fuzzing helped you basically find a vulnerability, and have you traced it from a bug and you actually fixing it, how that process was? And I guess there's a lot of new students here, so they don't know exactly what fuzzing means. So if you want to touch a little bit upon that too.
Yeah, sure. So I guess fuzzing is a way of testing software in that this fuzzing engine will generate unique inputs for the code that you're fuzzing, and it is like an evolutionary algorithm. So it is the goal of touching as many branches into your code. And its inevitable goal is to find an exception that's raised that you don't catch, or like if it's a memory unsafe language, a crash, right? So where I've done a lot of the fuzz testing is in kind of like bug bounties. Like I do, Google has a program called OSS Fuzz, where you can integrate fuzzers into open source repositories, and then they pay you money for doing that. So I've done it with them, and then another company, For All Secure, that offers a similar program. So I've integrated fuzzers into like over 200 different open source projects. So typically it's finding like a lot of, I've done it for Python, C, C++, Swift. So there's a lot of, if you think about it, there's so many open source repositories out there, and it's really easy to just search for the word parser on GitHub and find one that's like pretty easy to fuzz test. And there's just so many edge cases, because usually when you're doing unit testing, you're doing a lot of like happy path testing. And then fuzz testing is going to uncover the things you didn't really think about, and start to really find some exceptions or crashes that you did not catch in your unit testing or integration tests.
Wow, that is so cool, 200 repos. So I got to learn a lot. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I'm pretty sure each one of us got to learn a bit more about it. I guess Alberto, Abhirup has the next question for you.
Yeah. So before I come on the next question for you, Alberto, I have a question for you too, Bailey. We talked about fuzzing and a lot of this thing. When we were last speaking on the phone, we were talking about you do a lot of open source. I do a lot of, I like open source, and we like Linux. For those of you, like students who are just like starting out their career, like they're like freshmen. Let's say they don't even know what open source is. How would you suggest them like getting started, or like why they should pursue open source? I mean, we'll be having a program, the GSoC Launchpad, Google Summer of Code, and like open source lab at GDSC. But why should they pursue open source? Because you're an industry professional.
Yeah, I think getting involved in open source is a very low stress way to get some actual hands-on experience and something in code bases people actually use. And you're not beholden to a 40-hour work week or what your manager wants you to do. So it's a really good way to get involved. And usually there's like a lot of nice like guidance on how they handle pull requests, the quality of code they're looking for. You can look at previous pull requests and learn from how people have handled it. And honestly, for me, like going, switching from the public sector to the private sector, having the open source stuff on my resume is what people cared about the most. Like, most of my questions were about, oh, what is this thing you did with For All Secure, this thing you did with Google's OSS Fuzz, rather than where I had worked before. Because I think probably one thing it shows is adaptability, that you can just jump into a new code base and kind of get a good understanding of it.
Right.
And probably, on top of that, that you're actually passionate about the field.
Right.
And it's something that you're willing to do outside of your, 9 to 5.
Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I think that would have made very clear for people just starting out, and they heard the word, let's say, open source for the first time, fuzzing for the first time. Like, they didn't know. I think that'll be very insightful for that, for them, Thanks for that, Bailey. I have a question for you, Alberto. You did your bachelor's, and then you did your master's from University of Colorado. And then you did your PhD, like, that's 10 years. Like, what made you pursue like a PhD in artificial intelligence, going in that field, working under Dr. Subbarao, If you guys don't know, Dr. Subbarao is one of the top Sky professors here at ASU, and he's very selective, like, about the people in his lab. And Alberto was one of them, and he completed his PhD like right within time, within 5 years. So in PhD, there's like, certain necessities, like you have to submit certain papers and they have to be accepted in like time. So you have to dedicate a lot of time, even like sometimes as much as like a full-time job. So what would be your insights about that, Alberto?
Yeah, definitely I needed a lot of motivation for that. Initially, I always knew that I wanted to do a computer science degree, and I had that very clear from the beginning since I was like 10, 12 years old. So that was a great motivator for me, and I just wanted to keep going and going until I couldn't anymore, and that's basically a PhD. But also, in particular for AI, the first time that I touched base with AI and machine learning was in my master's, where I did my thesis was in how can I say, the big models on image classification. And that made me start on, what is this? How do they work? How are they? How is it possible that I send them this image of a dog and they just spit out a label of a dog? So in a way, I was very attracted to the idea of this black box thing. And I didn't know what I wanted to do in particular for my PhD. I just knew that it was going to be in machine learning and AI. So I joined one of the top ones, as Abhirup mentioned, thankfully with Dr. Subbarao Kamampari. And from there I started with my peers, and little by little I narrowed down more the topic of my PhD. And it ended up more being on explainability and failure modes for my thesis. But yeah, I would say that's mostly the motivator and what made me just continue studying until just basically I couldn't anymore.
So mainly you mean like having a lot of inner motivation, right? Like to do things?
Plus how the wave of AI was hitting and how machine learning was so surprising to
progressing.
Me. And I just wanted to know more about them and how their inner workings were. And that's basically what a PhD is. And you can just delve as much as you want, go deep as much as you want and can.
Right.
And keep going. Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. I don't think we ever discussed about it anymore, like before in depth. But touching on that, I have a follow-up for you, Alberto. So, you did your bachelor's all the way in Barcelona, in Spain. Then you did your master's in US in University of Colorado. Then you did your PhD from ASU. So you're basically like an international student, like a lot of people over there are international students. What was the biggest challenge for you, adapting from different cultures? Because English is not your first language. I think Spanish is, not a thing, but I mean, definitely Spanish is. But English as a second language, how did you adapt? I mean, you could speak English since you were a child. You told me that. Like, you were taught English, but there's varieties of accents. There's varieties of, like, even if you're writing code, let me give you guys like a very quick example. So over the past summer, I was having an internship in Germany, right? And I was working for this company. Their comments, literally, guys, like their comments, like in the code, were all in German. Like the code would be in English, but the comments are in German. And then when you start working with that, you're like, oh my God, like I can speak a little bit of it, but like not that good that I could translate the local phases. And people will be taking their anger out, like in the production, and they have these big comments in German, and like you read these words, like the word which is like a 5-letter word in English, German is like 15-letter. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so screwed. I don't know what to do. So what would you say about that, Alberto? Like adapting from different languages, even in coding, like,
Yeah, interestingly, that same question we were talking about, Bailey and I, just like 15 minutes back. So I kind of have the answer preloaded. But thankfully, I was very early in my life involved with English. So when I was 10 years old, 12, I started going to like an extracurricular English academy, and I was involved in that. So English in particular was never an issue for me, thankfully. That probably also is what helped me to like just get so much out of my comfort zone and go to as far as the US, which from Europe is quite far. But in particular, so the question was in particular for what other?
adapting between different languages.
Yeah, so in that regard, I didn't have that much of an issue, thankfully. But I do have like other lab mates in particular from other countries that they came here without knowing much English and just grinding. Definitely the thing that I mentioned at the beginning, just being consistent can break anything. And they didn't speak that much, or at least write that much good English, but they started their PhD and they improved so much in just the 4 or 5 years that a PhD comes. So just that kept that grinding mentality and just keep going is what made it for them.
Right. Great answer. So the next question is sort of for all three of you. Alberto, you did your PhD in AI. Andrew, you're working for XAI, and then Bailey, you did a lot of open source contribution, especially with security. So how do three of you see AI and security converging in the next, say, 5 years, 7 years?
Me? Okay, I guess I'll take that one. The convergence of AI and security. Not to shout out my fiance's company that she works at, but she's at a startup. It's called Horizon 3, and they do autonomous pen testing. So it's literally the application of artificial intelligence for pen testing and upholding a system security. So I mean, it's definitely, I think it's going to take over. Like specializing in like pen testing, I think the hourly rate is like absurd. And if you can have an AI system do it for a fraction of the cost much quicker, then I think we're going to be moving in that direction. So, and attackers are using artificial intelligence. Even if you look in the news, people are generating they'll train on your voice and then like do scams against you, right? So I think as much as attackers use it, defenders will also have to use it.
So there's a lot of potential in that field, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Alberto, what's your take on it?
Yeah. I think agentic AI is going to get larger and larger every time. Like right now, it's already very big, but it's going to get even more. In 5 years, I've seen all of these conjectures and big theories about how AI is going to be like super intelligent and become like a threat and everything. I don't quite accept that, so as to say. But I do think that it's a game changer for all of us, especially for us in CS. That's why I also mentioned at the beginning not to rely as much on using it for for them to do the work, but just as a tool. because the more we have and we can do ourselves, the more value we can add instead of just giving it to just an AI. And that's what actually will hold all of our, especially our jobs as well. So hopefully it will be all for the better. But yeah, I think Agentica is basically going to be the main thing here.
Yeah, fair. And Andrew, what's your take on it?
So for AI security, I guess it's AI security and AI safety. AI security, I think AI could definitely be very useful for like testing. For example, I think a common problem at many companies is QA. Often you have these big teams like offshores in like Japan, India, who do like testing, make sure things don't break. This thing could be automated quite easily, I think, by AI. So that's something I'm excited about. For AI safety, I think it's important that in the end, AI has to benefit humans, and it always has to be humans that control the AI. So you always need to make sure like the AI is like aligned with like humanity's like goals.
Yeah, great answer. Abhirup, I think he has some questions.
Yeah, right. So before we move on to the next set of questions, there's a couple of people in the crowd who have questions for you guys. So they submitted the questions over there. If you guys still want to submit the questions, you guys can go ahead and submit. We'll probably take like 2 or 3 more questions after that. We have tons of questions, but I'll ask one for each of you all. So first question for you, Andrew. Arun asks, have you met Elon?
Yes, I think Elon's pretty unique because he actually goes to like his companies. He's not like some other executive who just like sits at the top and does nothing. Elon actually goes down and meets with like the people at every level, not just like the top. So he takes it. He really likes to talk to the people who are doing the actual work. So yeah.
That's amazing. So a follow-up on that, Rhythm over here, they have a question for you. They're asking, what is the best use case of agentic AI and LLM reasoning? I think that's a wonderful question. Like, what do you think? Like, what's the best use case? I mean, probably they're freshmen, I'm assuming, and they're curious about it.
So I guess like in my own opinion, I'm not too sure. Like if I knew the answer, like I would like put all my effort into doing that specific use case.
That's a very like a specific question catered towards the need of the person, right?
Yeah.
I see some of you guys have questions over here for me. I can talk to you guys, like both me and Zeal can talk to you guys later after the event, and there's some questions about GSoC and other stuff. We can definitely talk to you guys later. Right now, we'll just ask Andrew, Alberto, and Bailey the questions. So Evan over here has a question for you, Bailey. He asks, how did you get your foot in the door in your SWE career?
How did I get my foot in the door? So, well, I studied computer science undergrad here at ASU. And I think what was pivotal for me was that I did take a sophomore year internship.
Right.
Most people I knew just did junior, senior, especially because this was COVID. So there was no, well, there were, but I interned with the government. That has to be in a skiff, out east. So they shut that down. So if I did not have the internship from sophomore year, I would have nothing going into senior. And they're like, people are going to pass you up.
Right.
So for me, my path was I interned with the government, and then the ASU has a program, if anyone's interested in public service, scholarship for service, and they will pay for your undergrad and a year of your master's.
That's amazing.
Yeah, in exchange for an equal amount of time served for the government. So I was a software engineer for the government. I loved it. It's super impactful work as well. And then, from there, wanted to move back out to Arizona. So I found a remote, a role that could be done remotely. Just applying. Actually, it was a recruiter reached out on LinkedIn. for Microsoft. And then also, the open source stuff, just doing that on the side, I think that really helped.
So you mean having an active LinkedIn and having an active social presence basically gives you an advantage?
Yeah, just keeping it up to date.
Right.
Like I put my contracting stuff on there with Google and for all secure, so it looked like I have a decent amount going on. So I think that was interesting to people.
I definitely agree with you on that. I remember, I think a year and a half ago, when there was almost news that we'll be in a recession and stuff, I used to know this person, and we used to have like an on-campus job together. I wouldn't name them, but they told me, they were struggling to find a job, but they had like a very active profile, and that they ended up like getting like a full-time at Deloitte. They were like, the recruiter reached out to me, and now I think they are at like Amazon. Like they had like an interview to Amazon later, and it was like a year and a half ago. So I definitely agree with you on that. So guys, it's a lesson for all of you. Just keep like an active social presence on LinkedIn, and even on other platforms like, GitHub too, right?
Yeah, GitHub too, like open source contributions, that's gonna be on GitHub. Having like an active count of number of pull requests you're making, all of those things add up, I would say, yeah.
Definitely, if you know the things that you're doing, if you can talk about them, helps you a lot. Moving forward, I have another question. This is for you, Alberto. So a person asks if they aspire to be an AI engineer, what good roadmap should they go down with the fundamentals of AI and machine learning?
What made the difference for me is taking the right courses, definitely. So make sure you know which ones you're taking. ASU, I think they have very good courses. I don't remember exactly. They have statistical machine learning. I think it's a very good one. Fundamentals of statistical learning is a very good one. Planning and learning methods from my professor, not to make here like any advertisement, but he is very good as well. So I think have that curriculum, build that, getting to know all of these methods in AI, which now it's only LLMs, but you can see all how it evolved from other methods like logistic regression, linear regression, all of that. It's really good to know, to have a very good foundation. So, and then as much as you can, I completely subscribe to the idea of doing open source, if you can just, because you don't have any pressure at all. So if you can just start doing your own little projects or trying to contribute to a code base, I think that's what's gonna give you definitely the most experience. Plus, you will be rewarded later when you look for a job because they will be looking at that. So,
I see. So taking like the right courses, having the correct direction helps you a lot, right? Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
There's one more question for you, Alberto. This person, they haven't submitted their name, but they ask, as an AI engineer, what do you think are the possible challenges of multilingualism in AI?
They're already there, I would say. So I come from a region where we speak 2 languages. One is Catalan, yeah. Probably for most of you, if you are from India, that's nothing because you have so many languages there. But I bet how the LLMs work, I'm saying now interchangeably AI and LLMs, that's something very wrong, but let's make it right now that. I would say the accuracy and the biases that you can have from an LLM that it's not trained on the only other than English are gonna be worse. So that's a challenge by itself. How to solve that, I don't have an answer, to be honest, but it's definitely a problem that we have to tackle, yeah.
Right. Makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Anyways, guys, we'll move on forward with our own questions, which we have prepared with, we thought in depth about it, like while preparing. It covers a lot of your guys' general questions too. But we'll come back. We'll take 2 more questions. If you guys still want to submit it, you can submit your questions. If you guys want to ask Alberto, Andrew, or Bailey. If you guys have questions for me or Zeal, we can talk later. But coming on to the next questions, I have one for you, Andrew. You have worked in both product and research companies, right? Like Apple is it's a very product-focused company too, but it does a lot of, it's a big company. Like they do a lot of stuff. But in research context, how do you decide whether something stays experimental or it is like production ready? In research contexts, like working for XAI,
This is how you decide when something is experimental versus product ready? Like,
Yeah.
how do you tell?
Yeah. Like let's say, we have Grok 3 now, right? Like how do you know like this is ready to be released, right? Like we have all these different versions coming up. Grok does like an amazing job with the Imagine, right? Like with the image generation. I think it's one of the super cool models out there. How do you guys know? When do you guys like roll out a new feature? When do you know like this is the time,
Yeah, very often I don't make the decision. Usually, we sometimes like roll it out. It's pretty standard. I think we're like most companies, we probably roll features out like slowly, and if they have traction, we keep like doing those features.
So it's like deadline based, like, in a certain timeline you have to roll out that feature, or is it like?
Yes, there are timelines, and yeah, very often you want to do it as fast as you can because there are many other players in the game who have like many more resources and many more people, and they're hard to beat. So time is very important.
Makes sense. Talking in general aspects, though, you don't really have to answer this question if it's related to the company. In general aspects, let's say there's certain AI company, and they have to release this feature. And let's say OpenAI, they release their latest model, and it's faster than the company that's going to release, or maybe the company that you're working for, right? And you guys have something which can be released, and it's like way more powerful. You guys know, okay, no, this our thing is better than theirs, but they released it first, but it's not completely ready. Are you guys gonna release like a prototype or something, or are you guys gonna wait? Like what happens in a real life scenario in a company?
Yeah, I think for maybe I think in like for like personally, in my own opinion, I think being first is a huge advantage. But as long as your thing it has to be much better. If it's much better, then people should switch.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Andrew. Zeal will ask you the questions, Bailey.
So Bailey, I have a question for you. Personally, the only experience I've had with security has been the CSE 365 class. For somebody who wants to get into it, how would you recommend, or like sort of like a roadmap or resource or project you would recommend to start off with?
Yeah. I think the best class, bar none, at this school is CSE 466 with Jan Shoshitashvili. Highly recommend it. It's, especially when I took it, it was intense. I think from what I've heard now, it's 2 classes, but they fit all of it into 1 semester then. And that's like everything binary exploitation. So it takes you from, what is a buffer overflow, till at the end, you're exploiting a custom kernel that he wrote. So I would highly recommend that class. Yeah, 365 is a good introduction. That's I think that was a prereq to 466. Other than that, just getting involved in like capture the flags. There's so many of them online. They run capture the flags, it's like ctflive.com. There's capture the flags like if you go on there right now, it's like every few days. Especially the ones that are run by universities are more like entry level. Or if I did those to learn, and for the first few, you'll be like, oh cool, I did it all day and I solved 0. So then you wait for the next day when everyone posts their solutions, and you can look at those and then learn from how they did it. And then there's a lot of the same patterns, for the ones moving on. But that 466 class is really fun because it's modeled entirely as like a capture the flag. So you do solve like 30 capture the flags, and that's your homework. So didn't even feel like work. It was really fun.
Yeah. Actually, like 365, they have structured it in that manner
Oh,
too.
really?
You have to find the flag, sort of
Yeah.
the PWN college.
Oh yeah, Pone College. Yep.
Yeah, that's how they teach it. So yeah, but I think anybody can do it. Like you can just join it. It's pretty much like free and open source, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are encouraged to try it out. It's super fun.
It's funny, people knew about it when I was at the government. Like, oh, you did Pone College. It's this thing that started here.
Yeah, it was like crazy amazing how much I learned in just like one semesters. Not gonna lie, I had to be like up for the whole night trying to find that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
flag. But it's super satisfying when you do find it.
And all the lectures are on YouTube. At least they were. Are they still? Yeah.
Yes,
so
they are.
you can go do it now.
I remember taking 365 information assurance class, October 7th, 2023. I was on fall break, and I had like 3 challenges left for reverse engineering, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not gonna complete it. But then I was like going through YouTube, and I found a flag, and I was like so happy, you know. So those of you who don't know, Pond College, it's like a server maintained by CEFCOM. It's a security lab by Sky, School of Computing and Augmented Intelligence. Megan is the, okay, cool. Sorry about that, guys. Went off for a second. So yeah, it's a super cool class. I think they have like 24,000 members on their Discord server. So if you guys want to get into security, definitely join it. You know, we're mostly running out of time, but we'll ask some more questions from you know, our students who have submitted more questions. We'll ask 2 questions, and then after that we'll have like a lightning round for you, just like 1-word questions, and then we'll do like a Red Bull wants to make an announcement. They sponsored our drinks tonight, and then we'll have the Kahoot. Anyways, coming on to the next question. Oh, I'm not sure it's a tech question, but Ethan here wants to ask Alberto. Alberto, how much can you bench? Should that be in kilogram or pounds?
Not enough, not enough. Really? Well, I can answer.
I can show you. Check
Okay,
this.
no, okay, I can say.
Not even kidding. Who's Ethan, by the way? Big round of applause for that, Ethan, you know. Going out of comfort zone. You could have not submitted your name, but you did, so.
He added me in LinkedIn as well. I saw it. 100 kgs. I don't know how much is in pound. I think
225.
225. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Trying to improve.
More than I can bench.
I like those questions. More of those. Just kidding.
Anyone else wants to ask Alberto how much he can leg press or something?
Not as
What's
much.
your deadlift?
So the answer is not as much. Ethan, ask him after a month. It'll be like more. Anyways, coming to the next questions. I think the next question is for you, Andrew. Do you think AI will replace software development engineers in 5 to 10 years? And how do we prepare for, you know, like the AI upcoming era?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I might be replaced in a couple years too. I am not. Yeah. I'm not
I
sure.
hope not. I mean, we really want to invite you again as a guest speaker,
Yeah,
you know?
next time it'll be Grok up here.
If AI takes you over, then we'll just have to talk to ChatGPT or Gemini, you know?
If we don't have jobs, we have a lot more time for this. We can just.
Like, hopefully, it's like a future where like we're still around and we can use these tools to like do things more faster, more efficiently. But it very well could be that we're all replaced.
Can I add to that one?
Yes, of course, of course.
Because that's obviously something we're all worried about. So one of the senior engineers on my team, I was talking to him about it, and he had a good point. He shared like an article where people were worried about compilers replacing engineers because like, oh, we've been writing assembly for all this time. What are we ever going to do? I think the nature of the job just changes. So, at one point we all wrote assembly, and then there were high-level languages, and then now maybe those. I don't think it's there yet, but at some point, these AI models might be better than us at doing that, but you need someone to still think and architect solutions.
Right.
So I think that's really the job of the software engineer. The code is just the tool we use to do it.
So code is basically the tool, but you're just learning the skills, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think
Matter what.
that's so true, Bailey. I think in this era, specifically, you have to be really adaptive. Like, let's say, you're a fast learner. You can just like get a job super quick because let's say you're getting like a project management job, but you're a software engineer, but you know how to do a lot of other cool stuff, I think you'll be very adaptive. I think last year in our info session, Pavel mentioned this. Pavel was talking about, introduction to wireframing. And when we were talking about that, he mentioned, he has worked at 5 companies before, but he's very adaptive with technologies. Like if you guys ever attended Pavel's workshops before, and he said that if you guys can do Figma, like wireframing, because a lot of software engineers don't really do that. People are like, they're shocked. They're like, oh, you can do Figma, like you're adaptive. They hire you quick, You don't have competition in that way, like that much competition. So that's very true. Do you want to add anything to that, Alberto?
Being also at the frontier, like also doing research, I think that's one of the things that is gonna hopefully be one of the last things to be removed by AI, if any. But I completely agree with them that it's a little bit uncertain, but for now, they should be used more of like tools than anything, and we shouldn't care as much. And basically, jobs will improve in terms of, how would I say, quality of the jobs, as you mentioned as well. So I agree with that as well.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Anyways, moving forward, guys, let's do a lightning round with you all. You just have to, answer like one-word answers, basically, 3 questions, and then we'll do the Red Bull announcement, and then we'll do the Kahoot quiz because we are on a limited time frame. So starting with you, Alberto, what's one book or podcast you'd recommend to students? Non-related to tech, it doesn't, non-related to tech, related, whatever you would want to suggest.
The Huberman podcast. I think you can learn so much in terms of healthcare and everything. Huberman podcast I think it's in YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Bailey?
Shoot, the first one that comes to mind is tech-related. Darknet Diaries is a good...
Darknet Diaries?
Yeah, it's a good cybersecurity-related podcast.
It's a podcast?
Yeah.
I see. What about you, Andrew?
I don't really listen to podcasts, but yeah.
A book or resource, yeah, like, anything you would want to recommend, like...
Tutorial?
YouTube video or like something which you would want to recommend to students.
Maybe just like use Grok, use these tools more. Yeah.
Use Grok.
It's a good resource.
Or Copilot, whichever.
Does Vianai have something too, Alberto? Are you going to promote too?
Not yet. We're getting there.
Next year, we'll invite Alberto, and once Vianai has, he'll recommend that too. So Copilot or Grok? All right, cool. That sounds good. Anyways, guys, let's ask the other 2 lightning questions. Aziz's going to do that for you, and then we'll move on to the Red Bull announcement.
So I have an interesting question here. If not your current role, what's your dream role or a dream project you'd like to work on? Let's do starting from Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that could definitely happen in maybe like 6-7 years when you have more time to work on your things that you want to do. So instead of coding, I'd probably hit the gym more or just do some cool side quests.
Side quests.
Bailey, yeah.
Probably rescue dogs. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Nice. Alberto.
Being a professor, since I have a PhD, I will very well just use it.
Yeah. All right. The last one would be taken by Abhirup, and then he'll wrap it up.
I think we kind of touched on this, but what's one coding tool or technology that you'd recommend to students? Let's start from you, Alberto.
Coding tool or technology?
Yeah,
not
to cheat, apart not to ask for projects or something, but more as a productive tool.
Python is definitely one of the top, if not the top, languages. So probably you all know already, but that's definitely at the very top. If you want to also learn some React as well, that's very helpful, and I can see that in the industry a lot. I think with those 2, you can go almost anywhere in terms of coding. So, yeah.
So Python, that keeps you up to date, and it's also used a lot of in machine learning.
Python will be more for backend. React is more on the front end side. So if you know both, that's really good. Yeah.
That's good to know. What would you suggest, Bailey?
I wouldn't say anything specific, but I would say pick up something that they don't teach here to stand out from the crowd.
Right. That's a very good answer. Like, follow your passion more in a way, like follow a technology that you
Yeah.
really want to use
Yeah.
and make the most out of it.
Yeah, like something that you enjoy that you'd want to maybe work in, right?
Right.
So if you have some hobbyist experience in it, that'll
Right.
give you an edge.
Right. What about you, Andrew?
I think visualizing things is like a good tool. So like Desmos, for example. Like I'm sure you guys have all used Desmos, but like you can do a lot of very cool stuff with Desmos.
That's cool. That's very cool. All right, guys. This concludes the guest speaker Q&A. Let's give a big round of applause for Alberto, Andrew, and Bailey. Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure to host all of you over here. Hopefully, we'll see you guys some other time too.
Thank you for the flowers as well.
Of course, of course.
Oh, your mic?
Of course. We'll see you guys now. All right. Grace, do you want to come up? Hi, guys. We have like a quick Red Bull announcement. So Red Bull is here. Wonderful peeps from Red Bull. They sponsored our event. Over to Grace.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. We're so excited to energize your event, and we'd love to energize you at ours. So we have this event called Red Bull Chariot Race. We had it last year, and so this will be the second one.
Hi guys, I'm also Hannah. I also work for Red Bull with Grace. We decided to come and do a little quick presentation for you guys. I know you've sat through a lot, but like Grace was saying, this is Chariot Race. We did it last year, and it is on Mill. It's a super fun event that we do almost every year, and this might be one of the last years that we're thinking about doing it. So I would definitely consider taking a look into everything that we are about to tell you.
Okay, so what is it? So basically, teams of 4 are able to build their own chariot, and then they're racing on Mill. We'll have judges, professional athletes, judging the people racing the chariots. And here are some of the people, if you recognize any of them. I have no idea who the surprise judge is, but it's a pretty good time. We'll have the global people out from Red Bull, so it's also a really great experience to network. A lot of brands do come to this event because it's kind of a pilot for what we're doing for the rest of the country. So you might even be able to get a chance to be featured on Red Bull North America.
Awesome. So here's kind of the bread and butter of it. At the end of this presentation, we are going to show a QR code. You guys can apply if you'd like. We only need 1 name, so you don't necessarily have to have 4 people yet, just as long as you can promise 4 people on your team. You also don't have to be super inclined, like you don't have to be super technical with your chariot, or if you are super technical with your chariot, we also love that. It's mainly just an event for everyone to have a good time, show their skills, and make connections, so this could be a super fun event for that. Again, like I said, you need 4 teammates. Applications close September 26th. It is September 24th, so you have about 2 days to submit an application. So I'd suggest taking a picture of that QR code, applying right now, getting your foot in the door. And then you'll find out if your team got selected on September 30th. And if you guys do win, we have some insane prizes for you guys. The first place is $2,000 and a year supply of Red Bull. Second place is 4 VIP tickets to Local World of Red Bull Experience. That can be anything crazy that you want. We also have like F1. We have like all the skydiving, whatever you want from Red Bull. And then the third place is going to be a Red Bull party experience. So if you guys wanted to throw a party for your friends, big, small, Red Bull will take care of you.
Perfect. So if anyone wants to scan the QR code or just take a picture of it, that'll take you to the website where you can apply. Also, if anyone is interested, feel free to reach out to Hannah and I on LinkedIn, or reach out to any of the presidents or anyone on the club or e-board. We'd love to have you guys at the chariot race too, even if you don't want to race. It'll be a great time. It'll be on Mill. It's during Halloween weekend, so everyone's going to be dressed up. So honestly, Yeah, just come if you want to have fun with Red Bull.
And then, yeah, like Grace was saying, if you want to apply now or if you want to apply before the deadline, if you want to reach out to one of them, let them know. We can get you set up and track your application. Or if you're signing up right now, you can catch us on the way out too, whatever works best. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We hope to see you some of you there.
Thank you to Grace and Hannah. Thank you so much for sponsoring our event. That was wonderful, guys. That was wonderful. Anyways, we have the Kahoot trivia giveaway now. Let's get started with it. Yeshu, can I get you on stage? All right, guys, take out your phones. Super quick. Let's get started with the Kahoot giveaway. First prize, we have the Google Nest Hub. Second prize, we have the Apple HomePod Mini. And third prize, we have the Amazon Echo Show. Be super quick, guys, because there will be limited participants. All right, guys, let's get started. So Yeshu will be announcing the question for you guys.
So, first question will be when was the GDSC ASU was founded? The options are 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21. I guess I don't need to announce the option anymore, so I will just announce the questions.
We have Calvin on top right now. All right, let's get on with it. Second question, which one of these is not in our fall 2025 workshop schedule? Alberto, do you know this? Alberto, you know the answer, I know that.
Kevin, you're still on the leaderboard. Okay, next question. So what does HTML stands for? All right, guys, get in your answers. That's your freshman year question. All right, 10 seconds. Okay. Almost all of you got it right, okay?
Got it right.
Kevin, you're still first.
You're
Nice.
maintaining the streak, Calvin. Let's go on next. All right, what does AI stand for?
All right, come on, guys. If not this, then which answer?
It's not hard. You guys got it, you know?
All right, 5 seconds.
Wait, did someone mark Apple Intelligence? I saw like one answer over there. Really want to know their name right now. Who marked Apple Intelligence? Andrew, you're second.
Okay, which of these was the first programming language? Was it C, COBOL, Fortran, or Java? I think this is part of your freshman year too. It's a freshman year question.
I mean, it's pretty basic. Like we're
CSE
even taught in.
240.
Yeah. Also, we're taught in like high school. You know, like these questions.
3
like if you took
seconds.
CS.
All right, that was a tough question. Okay. Oh, Andrew!
We have you on lead. I see. So, all right. Which company created Waymo? hint might not be what you think. I specifically put it over there just to confuse you guys.
All right, was it Google, Jaguar, Alphabet, or Tesla?
Is it Jaguar? Or is it Google? Or is it Alphabet? Probably not Tesla.
All right, tough question, tough question. Okay.
Come on to the next one. Woo!
Andrew. All right, what is the name of Google's AI chatbot? I can confidently say all of you guys have used it. Is it ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, or Watson?
Come on, guys, you got it. Everyone's gonna get this correct.
All right,
I don't
5
want to see a
seconds.
wrong answer for this one.
Woohoo!
Oh,
Nice.
someone marked Watson. What?
Right, Andrew, you're
Andrew.
on fire.
You're like leading it. All right, what year was Google founded? Not too tough, not too tough, you know. I mean, those of you over there who have researched, you might know. 1995, 98, 2000, or 2002?
Right, 5 seconds. Get in your answers. Ooh, tough question. Close, close. All right, Andrew still got it. Okay, which Google service is used for cloud computing, databases, and ML models? Is it Firebase, Google Cloud Platforms, Google Analytics, or Google Domains? Quick and easy question. We're gonna have a workshop on that too. All right, nice. Andrew's still at the top. Kevin catching up.
All right, which of these games was first created at MIT as a programming project? Come on, guys. Tetris, Space War, Pac-Man, or Pong? What do you guys think? It's not too tricky question, but I think, yeah, it's more of a general knowledge question. So if you guys have heard about it, then you might know. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Oh, tough question.
All right. 12 of us got that correct. Andrew,
Andrew's
oh my
still on
God.
fire.
You're going to win it.
All right, what's the mascot of Linux? All right. Is it a tree named Grud? Okay, a cat named Linny, an owl named Root, a penguin named Tux. I think. All right, next question. And you're still on the top.
All right. What is often considered the unofficial mascot of Git? Thanks to GitHub. The penguin, the elephant, the dog, or Octocat? Come on, you guys know this. Everyone knows this. 8, 7, 6, 5. All right, it's already done.
That was a quick one.
Everyone answered it. Andrew, you're going to win it, yeah.
All right, which data structure works on the principle of first in, first out?
This is not a very common question, but those of you
Freshman
know, you
year
know.
basics.
Yeah. Just testing the basic
All right,
knowledge.
is it stack, tree, hash map, or a queue? Data structures and algorithm class. All right. Andrew first, Aryan second, and Meg third. Okay, next question.
What was the most trending search globally on Google in 2024? The US election, Copa America, Inside Out 2, or iPhone 16?
know. I'm confused too. 5 seconds.
I think probably iPhone 16. Do you think? Yes or no? I might be. Oh,
Interesting.
7 of us got it correct. Love this question.
Okay, what is Dua Lipa's latest album? Okay, Spotify fans, I guess. Is
Dua
it
Lipa fans out
Murals,
there.
Radical Optimism, Future Nostalgia, or Cold Heart? 5 seconds.
2, 1. Woo.
Alright, next. Okay, let's see who won this. Okay, third
Meg.
is Meg. Second is Aryan. And first is
Probably Andrew.
Andrew.
Andrew. And fourth is Janvi.
Alright, do you wanna-
All right, do you guys want to come up? Meg, Aaron, and.
Abhirup. Right here. Right by the center. Or just come up on the stage.
All right, Aaron, you win the first prize. Meg, you get the second one. Andrew is our guest speaker. He was like, give it to the students, you know. So, Janvi, you're on third. Technically, you were on fourth. So,
Where's Janvi?
where's Janvi?
Where's Janvi? Can we have Janvi on the stage? Come on,
Congratulations.
on the stage.
Somang, Hoang, you guys want to come up to give away the prizes? All right, who's Meg? Arya, you're Aryan? Okay, Aryan.
Alright. Wait, hold on. Alright, the third, you wanna go over there for the photo? Sure. Alright, guys, squish it. Squish it.
Take a picture.
नहीं हूँ भूली गई मैं बना के Congratulations, guys. Right, we are at the end. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks a lot for coming to the event, guys. We'll see you guys at our upcoming workshops. Have a good one. Take care, guys.
Hope to see you all soon.